Well, hello there. I'm really excited to bring you ombre ideas. Ombre is where you take one color and it blends into another color, usually either going from a dark to a light shade of its own color, or, as you see in my handwriting up there, going from one blue to another blue into a green into a light mint. Excuse me. So, ombre is pretty fun, and it's a technique you can use with anything. You can use it in your Bible journaling, you can use it in your heart journaling, you can use it with lettering like I did above, and I'm going to show you 5 different ways with 5 different types of medium to go ahead and create an ombre look. The first one we're going to look at is using just acrylic paint. So there's a couple different ways to do this. One is you can, I call it just using a loose acrylic paint. So I've got a little bit of pink there on my really special palette, which is just wrapping from a packaging. And you want to start out putting a lot of paint at the top, and then you put more paint, or I mean less paint, and more water as you go down, and you can see how the color's gotten lighter there. That's ombre. You're going from dark to light with the pink. So you can always go back in and darken the top, which is what I usually end up doing with ombre, and then add more water to the bottom until it kind of fades out. That's a really fun way. Or you can always add white to get the lighter look. And so you can add white to any color, obviously, to make it lighter. Or you could add a darker shade at the top to make it darker. So if you had an even darker pink, or if you wanted to add some red into this at the top, you could do that also. And that would give you kind of an ombre look with one color. In this case, it's 2 because I obviously added some white paint. But if you only had pink, you can just add water to it and keep it going. Now I'm just going back over and putting more white paint so you can see all the different ways you can just keep layering paint and just to create the effect you want. The whole idea with ombre is you're just working from dark to light with color. Excuse me. Now I want to show you how to do an ombre effect with stencils. So I have this Bible mat. You can see there's crosses running down the side, which is kind of a fun little stencil built in to my Bible mat. And I'm going to show you how to take 3 different acrylic paint colors and create an ombre effect going from pink to orange to yellow, which is pretty fun. So all those colors kind of remind me of a kind of a sunset array of colors. Blues and greens would be really pretty in this too. So I'm just picking up some paint with a card and I'm squishing it into the crosses. And in this technique, you really want to, oops, my silly mat's like moving. I'm going to tape it down here in a minute, you'll see. Using washi tape to tape it down first is much smarter than what I did. I was trying to move fast and it slowed me down. So there we go, there's the washi, yay! So what you want to do is pick up a nice thick paint and use your card to scrape it into the stencil itself. And so you'll see me go and take the pink probably almost to about halfway down. Then I'm going to take the orange and I'm going to go over the top of the pink that's halfway down and go almost all the way to the bottom, which starts cutting off at the bottom of the screen. I'm so sorry. I thought I had the whole paper in frame. And then the last color I take is kind of a rich yellow, and I go kind of the last third over with a little bit of the orange and none of the pink, and just take the yellow all the way down. And here is the finished product. Isn't that so fun? And if you overlap the colors a little bit, it looks even more ombre. Because some of the pink and the orange mixed together, and then some of the orange and the yellow mixed together. Now the crosses are a little smudged because my stencil moved before I taped it down, but you can fix that easily. You can see how crisp the lines are after I taped it down. So next, let's talk about gelatos or distress crayons, or crayons that are a pigment stick that is a water-based pigment stick. You can find all sorts of kinds of these products. I love gelatos and I love the distress crayons. They're both the same type of idea. So I'm going to show you how to do this with gelatos, but you can do them with any kind of pigment stick. So again, there's a couple of ways you can do this. You can just take one color and color it all the way down the page, and just put less and less color as you move to the bottom. And with gelatos, you can color with them like a crayon, just like that. See, and then you can lighten it up, and you can do that. Or you can then add water to it and kind of do the same effect that I did with the acrylics. Now here I'm taking two different colors of gelatos. I'm taking a red and an orange, so I'm blending it. I'm blending kind of two colors to make an ombre effect. Instead of going from dark to light, I'm going from dark red to orange. Sorry about my throat. And here I'm dry brushing the gelato pigment, which is really fun. It's just a very stiff bristled brush, and I'm going over it, and that creates a really fun ombre effect, as you can see. And if you move up and down, the colors kind of blend well in the middle, and you can just do all sorts of stuff with that. That's pretty fun. Or you can take water to gelatos, which turns them into kind of an acrylic or a watercolor based medium, and that will blend your colors out too. And it depends on how much water you add, how much pigment you lay down. You can just experiment with it till you get the look you want. So ombre takes a little bit of experimentation, so you can kind of get used to whatever medium you're using and how it reacts to water, how it reacts to pressure, how it reacts to whatever you're trying to do to create the ombre look. So this is just kind of a fun thing to do if you have like a pile of leftover paint that you've put on a palette and you don't know what to do with. Start practicing some ombre techniques on extra sheets of paper, and then you could even take a tab punch and punch those out and create cute little tabs for your Bible journaling. So nothing wasted. All right, so anyway, that's how I use gelatos. The next I'm going to show you is watercolors. I love watercolors. So again, you can do watercolors with just one color, where you just take the purple and you just thin it out as you go, which means watercolors are pretty easy to do an ombre look with, because you just keep adding more and more water, and it'll eventually fade out into this beautiful, nearly transparent look, depending on how much water. And you can always go in back at the top and make it darker if you want. Another fun way to do ombre would be to blend one color into another color. So I'm going to take this rich blue, and we're going to take the purple and ombre it together. Ombre it? I'm not sure if that's an actual word, but it's going to be a word today. And blend them together in the middle so that they kind of turn into one color together. But there's a distinct purple and there's a distinct blue, and they just kind of meet somewhere and melt together in the middle, which is super fun. Again, experiment with anything you want. You can always add more paint to the top or the bottom. You can always add more water. You just have to decide what you want to do with this. So the last technique I'm going to do is using markers. These are water-based markers that I have in my hands. You can use any water-based markers for this. And here's a little quick idea that I was showing with Sharpies. Since they're permanent ink, they don't blend, but you can crosshatch or draw over the top of one another or something like that, just a cute little doodle that's the same ombre idea. And now you've got a cute little heart. So that was just a tiny little doodle, but you get the idea. That's what you could do with a permanent pen. But with water-based pens, we've got options. And I figured out one at the very end that I got so excited about because I had never thought of it before. So I'll wait and tell you about that when we get there. So I used markers to do the hand lettering at the top of this page where it says Ombre Ideas. And I used a blending pen to help blend the colors together. So I'm going to show you that here. So we're going to take a dark green and move to more of a mint green. And then you just take the blending pen. There are a number of companies that make these blending pens, and you can kind of soften the edges and soften the lines. It really just kind of wets the ink a little bit and allows you to kind of just blend colors and soften lines and things like that, because pens tend to make a harsh line, you know, when you draw with them. And if you want to kind of blend it out and make it a more softer, shadowy line, that helps. So that's something you can do with ombre with a pen. with a blending pen. This is a pen from Recollections, but I know Tombow has a really good blending pen. I'm guessing that Tim Holtz has a good blending pen. So there's just plenty of blending pens out there that you can use. So, and you can see when I go up in the darker paint there, or in the darker pen, you can see how it kind of blends it out. So, and then when your blending pen gets dirty or full of a different color, you just scribble it on some, just scribble it off on some scratch paper and your blending pen comes clean. So that's pretty cool. Now with the lettering up here, you can go in, most blending pens, or this one at least, a few of them I've seen, the Tombow one, this one, have a small tip end also, not just a brush tip. So you can go in and create detail in these little spaces and really kind of soften up the edges of the pen. You can see right there on the dot of the eye how I just kind of made it more blurry, which also adds to the ombre effect. It helps kind of create that soft blend of color that you're looking for when you're doing an ombre technique. So I decided, well, gosh, maybe we don't need to just use a blending pen here. So I'm about to pick up a brush again and dip it in some water to see if I can blend that watercolor pen out a little bit better in the middle. And oh my gosh, you guys, this is where I went bananas. I got so excited. I have never tried watering down water-based pens. In fact, I've always tried to keep water away from them because I know they'll bleed, but I didn't think about that to my advantage. I just thought of it as a disadvantage if I didn't want them to bleed. But look at this. It's like having a watercolor palette. I just can't even stand it. Most of you probably already know that this would happen, but for me it was a really fun kind of discovery that I had never thought of before. And I love the look of watercolors. I love, love, love watercolors. And so this got me quite excited because it's kind of like pens and gelatos then can become a really easy medium you can take on the road and use in place of watercoloring. Now, if you were to put water over the top of the ombre lettering up there, it would really smudge it out and smear it unless you used a really fine brush. So that's where having a blending brush comes in nicely if you want more detail. But oh, look at that. I'm so excited. So anyway, I hope this was helpful. If you have tips or ideas or questions about creating different ombre effects, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And I'd love for you to go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you found this helpful and share it with friends. We just do messy life around here and you're always welcome. All right, have fun. Bye-bye.